With chants of "Build the Wall," warnings of rapists coming from Mexico and an unforgiving promise to deport millions, Donald Trump forged a fundamental bond with millions of frustrated Americans who helped him take over the Republican Party and win the White House. But now the same issue of immigration is straining Trump's ties to hardline conservatives. Trump's agreement this week with Democratic leaders on a more moderate approach to immigration legislation has sparked bitter talk of betrayal among some of his staunchest defenders on the right, and forced many of them to rethink their loyalties amid confusion over what the president favors. When Trump on Thursday signaled his embrace of granting legal status to some immigrants who were brought to the United States illegally by their parents, he prompted new questions about whether he would support an eventual path to citizenship for them and raised doubts about how hard he would fight Democrats for the massive wall he promised along the U.S. Mexico border. In the eyes of these admirers turned critics, Trump's sins include not just a refusal to issue an ultimatum on the wall but his newfound willingness to work with the detested establishments of the Republican and Democratic parties. While party leaders on both sides frame the issue of undocumented childhood immigrants in compassionate terms, others view any accommodation as an affront to U.S. sovereignty and the rule of law. "If we're not getting a wall, I'd prefer President Pence," conservative author Ann Coulter tweeted Thursday. Amnesty Don declared a bright red headline on Breitbart News, the website run by former White House chief strategist Stephen K. Bannon, one of many political fire alarms set off by die-hard supporters following the sudden breakthrough Wednesday at a White House dinner. Yet the lasting political cost of Trump's engagement with top Democrats on immigration remained ambiguous. While Coulter and others vented, several conservative leaders Thursday remained hesitant about breaking with the president publicly given his continued grassroots support and their desire to focus Republican ire on the leadership in Congress. "The jury is still out on whether the base starts to leave him. And I'm not sure what the truth is," Representative Steve King, Republican Iowa, said in an interview. "If this stands and we end up with amnesty, the base that was pulled together because of immigration will start to peel off in significant ways. But," King added, "no one is quite sure about how this will play out and whether it's truly what we worry it'll be." Trump has cultivated a political persona defined, in part, by his hardline policy positions but also by the way he speaks as a celebrity populist to the grievances of many Americans amid a fast-changing global economy and culture. In search of a bipartisan victory that has eluded him, Trump has at times attempted to redefine those promises, to build a big, beautiful concrete wall, to deport all undocumented immigrants he has said have to go. The thought is that his base on Capitol Hill and in the activist ranks will forgive him because he shares those deeper grievances and anxieties, even if he is an unreliable champion. President Trump spoke to reporters on September 14 about his deal with Democrats on DACA and immigration reform, saying "We're moving very rapidly on the wall." The Washington Post. The president's statements seemed to evolve by the hour Thursday, reiterating that he would work with Democrats on shielding the thousands of dreamers who rely on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, while also assuring angry conservatives that the border wall remains very important, even if separate from the latest pact. In another tweet, he suggested that the wall he had promised is already under construction in the form of new renovation of old and existing fences and walls. Hours later, he said that plans for funding the wall, which he once described as a concrete edifice, were yet to come. "The wall will come later," Trump told reporters. Then in an email message to supporters signed by Trump, Trump's political committee told supporters, "There's been a lot of noise today. Let me set the record straight in the simplest language possible, we will build a wall, not a fence." The fix: Trump is finding that campaigning to erase Obama's legacy is easier than actually doing so. Polling suggests that Trump has more room to maneuver with his base on the question of dreamers than on other planks of his immigration platform. An analysis of the 2016 presidential election by Hamilton College political scientist Philip Klinkner found that among 2016 Trump voters, 67% supported building a southern border wall, 80% said speaking English was very important to being American, and 80% were opposed to letting Syrian refugees into the United States. But among the same voters, 68% said child migrants brought illegal AWH.